Hey everybody! The first thing you need to do is open a copy of that Garageband project from Shobi into your Garageband app. Let me review with you how to do that real quick.
Okay, when you see a file being shared in Shobi that looks like that GarageBand icon, that means that it's a GarageBand project. And in order to open it and work on it, you're going to need to click on it and then click on the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner and click Share. Okay, so I'm going to click on that file, and then in the upper right-hand corner there's that plus sign, and I want to share. And I want a copy to go to GarageBand. So I go to Share, and you notice that GarageBand didn't show. I had to click on More. And then it opens it up in GarageBand and adds it to my collection.
Once you have that Garageband project open, then you need to take a minute and figure out how you feel about lockdown these days. Are you feeling cheerful, relaxed, kind of dark, kind of stressed and intense? What kind of feeling do you want your blues to have? Do you want it to sound clean or distorted? Acoustic or electric?
Okay, so once you get this melody opened in GarageBand, you're going to use the descriptors and the Apple loops to get a percussion loop that feels right for what you want the piece to express. So the Apple loops are in that loop-de-loop in the upper right-hand corner. Right now on mine, it is right above measure 11. So I'm going to choose the Apple loops, and you're going to want to limit the descriptors so that you don't have to choose from a gazillion Apple loops. You just are going to get the ones that fit the descriptors you want. Okay, so I'm going to click on descriptors, and I want ones that are cheerful and relaxed because I decided that I wanted this song to express kind of a cheerful outlook. Okay, so then I go back to Apple loops, and I don't want to look at all the different loops. I just want the drums. Okay, so I'm going to choose just the drums. And now you can see I have a much more usable list to choose from. Okay, so let's see what this one sounds like. Okay, so I'm going to try that. So I'm just going to grab it and drag it over into my assignment here, or into my project. And now I also want to add a tambourine because tambourines just sound cheerful to me. So I am going to change my instrument to tambourine, and I'm going to keep my descriptors where they're at. And let's listen to some of these tambourines. This is going pretty slow. Oh, I kind of like that one, so I'm going to add the tambourine. Maybe not at the same time as the drums, maybe a little later. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. I want to see what that's going to sound like faster, because, you know, something sounding more cheerful is usually going to be faster. So I am going to go to the settings up here, which now looks like a gear. Used to look like a wrench, but now it looks like a gear. And I'm going to choose tempo. And let's make it faster. I can either tap it at whatever speed I want it to go, or I can just go by the numbers. So I want it to go about maybe even a little faster. Yeah, maybe about 115. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, I really like how those rhythms sound a little bit faster. Okay, so now I'm not sure I like the piano. I think I'd rather have it on a different instrument. So I'm going to highlight the piano, and up in the upper left-hand corner you can see that little piano keyboard. That's the instrument view. So I'm going to go to the instrument view, and instead of classical grand, I'm going to touch on that, and it shows me all the different keyboards that we have. So I purposely recorded this on keyboard for you so that not only do you have these keyboards, but you could also have all these synths. Okay, you could put it on a bass, you could put it on a synth pad, you could even go down to the bottom and you could put it in flute, clarinet, brass, strings. Let's have this melody be played on guitar. So I'm going to choose one of these guitars. I think the classic clean. Okay, and now I still have the melody being played, but the sound is going to be the guitar. So let's see what it sounds like. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, good. All right, the next step is going to be my chords.
The document Chords for the Lockdown Blues shows you which chord to put where. Okay, so when you're doing this, remember, number 1, the measure numbers on the chart correspond to the measure numbers at the top of Garageband. Okay, use them to make sure that you're changing the chords at the right time. Number 2, you can slow down the tempo to get the chords in correctly and then speed it up later. Okay, so it's better to put the chords in correctly at the right time slowly than to try and do it quickly and get them wrong. Okay, third, any instrument that has pitch, like a keyboard or a guitar or a bass, needs to be in the same chord as the other pitched instruments at the same time. So if you're supposed to be in the G chord in measure 3, you need to make sure that the bass is in the G chord and so is the keyboard, that all of the pitched instruments are in the same chord at the same time.
Okay, so I'm going to put some chords in now. First thing I need to do is get another instrument track. So up in the upper left-hand corner, where those 3 squares are, that's my instrument selector. And I need an instrument that can play chords. So it could be keyboard, it could be strings, it could be guitar, okay? I think I'm going to go with guitar. And actually, just so that it matches, I think I'm going to keep it on classic clean. Okay, but those are all the different guitar sounds you have. But I need to be sure that my guitar is on chords. Right now it's on notes. I'm going to touch chords, and now you see how I have all the different chords. I can either strum them, or I can put it on autoplay. Let's see what autoplay 1 sounds like. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, so I need to make sure I get my chords going at the right time. So I'm going to see if I can pull up my, Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull up my chords over on the right-hand side. I opened them up in Shobi previously, so that hopefully if I can get that Shobi app on side by side, I can look at the chords. All right, so I'm going to grab my Shobi. I'm going to pull it over here. It's called Chords for the Lockdown Blues. So hopefully it will be big enough so I can use it. Pretty small. Okay, so I color-coded this chart so that you could more easily tell when the changes are. And the numbers that you see on the chart are actually the measure numbers. So they're going to correspond with these measures up at the top of my Garageband. Okay, so I'm going to start in the G chord. All the blue chords are G chords. The green chords, I'm going to, in measure 5, I'm going to move to the C chord. And then I go back to the G chord in measure 7. And then in measure 9, that's the yellow chord, I'm going to move to the D chord. And then back to the G chord in measure 11. Okay? So if you need to slow down your Garageband in order to get this done accurately, please do that. You can always speed it back up. Okay, now I want to also add some bass in here. So I'm going to go up in GarageBand, I'm going to go up to my instrument selector, and I'm going to choose bass. And these are all my different bass sounds. I think I'll go retro bass. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Oops, looks like I have to move this over in order to get it on autoplay. Let's see what autoplay 1 is. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I like that. So now I am going to change chords at the same time in the bass as I did when I was doing the guitar. Okay, it's really important they change at the same time. So G chord, measure 1 through 4, and when I get to the 5, when I get to right here, I'm going to change it to the green, the C chord. Okay, then when it gets to 7, I'm going to change it back to G, the blue chord. Okay, when it gets to 9, goes to the yellow D chord, and measure 11 to the blue G chord. I know that you can't see those over here, but maybe you can count them, or maybe you can print out your chords on a separate piece of paper or something. Okay, so I'm going to add the bass. Okay, well, I didn't like how I really couldn't hear that bass, so let's look at this track view. And I am going to pull this margin on the left over to the right so that I can see all of these sliders. These are the volume sliders, and I want to make sure that I'm hearing my melody. Okay, this chords here, this classic clean was kind of overpowering. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, that's a little bit better. So make sure that you adjust the balance so that one instrument doesn't overpower the rest and you can still hear the melody. Okay, so now we're going to take a screen recording of this and upload it to Shobi. Okay, let's see if I can get rid of this Shobi thing. Yeah, so you can see that I'm already screen recording because I have that red dot. You want to get your screen recording option in the control center here, and I have another video I can share with you to show you how to do that. To make a screen recording, you just touch that kind of bullseye looking thing and it'll say, and make sure your microphone is on. And then you do the screen recording and turn it into me and Shobi as a movie. Okay?
Okay, so remember the point of this assignment is to express something. So we want to get a feeling for how you're feeling about lockdown based on the choices you made in this music. All right, I look forward to hearing it and have a good time.